In last video, we discussed about Jupiter in the 8th house of the horoscope. In this video, we are going to talk about what happens when you have Saturn. Yes, Saturn in the 8th house of your horoscope. So keep watching. Namaste and welcome to Pramanik Astrology channel. I'm your host Prasad Mahazani. Help you raise your vibrations and become your true self with the help of Vedic Astrology. These videos will help you go further faster into Vedic Astrology. If you have any question, put your question into the comment section of the relevant video. I read all the comments and I try to reply to almost all the comments. If you have any question, you can also add me on Instagram at Pramanik Astrology. Saturn in the 8th house. But before we talk about Saturn in the 8th house, what is Saturn? The first thing which comes to my mind when I think of Saturn is negativity. Saturn is polar opposite of the Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of optimism. Saturn is the planet of pessimism. Jupiter is about the abundance. Saturn is about the scarcity. Jupiter is about the positivity. Saturn is about the negativity. Jupiter is about the optimism and faith, and Saturn is about the negativity and distrust. Jupiter is the planet of higher beliefs, things which you cannot see, and Saturn is the most practical planet. Jupiter is the planet of wisdom, Saturn is the planet of efforts. Okay, so Saturn is all about that is negative in your life. Saturn restricts you by age, time, and abilities. Saturn signifies death, restriction, age, old age. All these can be seen with the Saturn. Now this planet is coming into the 8th house. 8th house is second from the 7th house, which is the Dhanasthan to the 7th house. 8th house is the house of joint assets. 8th house is the house of big money, like inheritance, insurance, government taxes. 8th house is 11 places away from the 10th house. So the gains from your 10th house can also be seen with the 8th house. 8th house is the house of longevity, reproduction, sex, charisma. 8th house is the house of ups and downs and transformation, birth and rebirth, death and rebirth is the theme of the 8th house. When you die and rebirth, it's transformation and it's sudden. Okay, so 8th house is also about the joint asset, is also about the sales. 8th house is also the house of things buried under the ground. 8th house is about the mysticism and occult, astrology, psychology. All these things can be seen with the 8th house. Now, what happens when Saturn comes into the 8th house? We are at the end of the 8th house series. Now Saturn is coming into the 8th house of your horoscope. The planet of slow movement is placed into the house of sudden ups and downs. So this kind of reduces the ups and downs in the native's life. His life becomes predictable, not exactly predictable, but that those ups and downs of the 8th house are reduced to a certain extent due to the effect of Saturn. The planet of discipline, commitment, and sincerity is coming into the 2nd house of the Dhanasthan from the 7th house. Okay, so the Saturn in the 8th house tends to give good result with respect to your marriage. The person with the 8th house Saturn lives a disciplined life and has a traditional and orthodox connection with their in-laws, because Saturn is orthodox. So this gives them the stability to the marriage. 8th house Saturn gives stability to the marriage. The planet of delay is coming into the house of death. Saturn is the planet of delay, and 8th house is the house of longevity. Usually we call it the house of death, but it is nothing but the life force which delays the death. That's why it is the house of longevity, how much you are going to survive. And now the planet of delay comes in, so it delays the death. That means it gives the longer life. The person with the 8th house Saturn has a longer life. The planet of loneliness is coming into the house of secrecy. Saturn is an old guy who likes to be alone. It's not like an independent Mars who is energetic and yet he wants to achieve his goals on his own. No. Saturn is an old guy who has done that, who has been there, done that, and now he has settled. He has seen all the ups and downs of the life and now he has settled. Okay. That is the nature of the Saturn, the planet Saturn. I'm not talking about the 8th house placement. I'm talking about the inherent nature of the Saturn. He is, always consider him as an old guy, always, so that you will understand his significations even more, especially those with the disciplined maturity and wiseness. All these things, you always imagine him as an old guy. The planet of loneliness is coming into the house of secrecy. Saturn loves to be low-key and secretive and alone and always working on his own. He likes that environment. And 8th house provide that darkness, secretive environment to the alone Saturn. So Saturn loves 8th house for this signification. The planet of intelligence is coming into the house of mysteries and occult. Yes, Saturn is intelligent. There may be negativity, but that negativity is essential for you so that you don't get carried away with too much positivity. And you can identify those who are around you, the true faces of the people around you. That's why Saturn is there. Saturn is an intelligent guy. Don't think he is dumb. No. He may be negative. He may be restricting you. He may be old, but he is intelligent. And he has the intelligence coupled with the hard work and determination and the discipline. So it is his intelligence may not be the piercing or penetrating like a Mercury, but he has that patience and hard work which makes his intelligence sharper. So now when he digs down into the 8th house things, he doesn't stop until he gets to the root of it. That's his quality. Saturn will not stop until he knows that mystery. If there is an occult science or if there is a concept which is, very mysterious, he will go and search all that is available on the internet, offline, books, articles, newspaper, people working on that, researching on that, his own implementation. He will do anything and everything what it takes to unfold the mystery, to expose that mystery, to reveal that mystery to himself. He is unstoppable. The planet of distrust is coming into the house of abstract. 8th house is an abstract house. Just like 12th, 8th is also very abstract house. All the houses after the 7th house are kind of abstract houses. Okay, if you look at the houses, the first house is Lagna, physical body. Second is your family. Third is siblings, mother, children, and your enemies. These are the tangible houses. Even 7th house, your marriage partner. So from 1st to 7th, all the houses are tangible houses, and if you start from the 8th house, all the houses are intangible and abstract houses. 8th house is the house of death. 9th house is the house of bhagya. 10th house is the house of karma. 11th house is the house of labha, and 12th house is the house of moksha. So there is nothing which he can see, feel, and trust. Only Jupiter can understand all these things like moksha, death, labha. Okay, karma, Saturn can understand. He loves that. But all other houses, he is not able to understand them because those are abstract and intangible. The planet of hard work is coming into the house of the life force. So these people tend to work hard. These people have the capacity to work harder than anybody else because the planet of hard work is coming into the house of life force. So now they have that patience to work longer hours. It can be exhaustive, yet they will do it. From the 8th house, Saturn aspects the 10th house with its 3rd aspect, 2nd house with its 7th aspect, and the 5th house with its 10th aspect. Saturn aspects the 10th house of the horoscope with the 3rd aspect. The planet of work, discipline, patience, hard work is aspecting the house of karma. So the person is always working hard to improve his work and career. Okay, more so, 3rd house aspect also has the energy of the 3rd house, which is about the self efforts. So now Saturn from the 8th house is aspecting with the 3rd aspect, which is all about the self effort due to the 3rd house element into it, is aspecting the 10th house of the career and work, karmasthan, and this is Saturn. So this itself is all about the karma. Okay, so 8th house Saturn is the best position to have a rise in your career. Okay, from the 8th house, Saturn aspects the 2nd house of the horoscope. 2nd house is all about your speech, your money, your finances, your family, your friends. So when Saturn aspects the 2nd house of the horoscope, what it shows is these people speak less, spend less due to the restriction of the Saturn on speech and on the finances. 2nd house is not about the spending habits, it is more of the 12th house. Yet the Saturnian effect on the 2nd house makes them be cautious about the finances in general, be it what they value and save, as well as how they're going to spend it. From the 8th house, Saturn aspects the 5th house with the 10th aspect. 5th house is about your hobbies, is about your creative talents, is about the painting, cinema, drama, passions. All these things can be seen along with children and education. So when Saturn aspects this house, it makes the person disciplined towards their children. The person with the Saturn in the 8th house is very, I won't say strict, but is very cautious about their children. The person with the 8th house Saturn is also cautious about the education. He is always cautious about the education he is going to take for himself and his children. And there may be delay in the education due to the Saturnian effect on the education, but yet he is cautious about it. He wants to get the education and he understands the significance of it and he's ready to take the disciplined actions. There can be delays, yet he is convinced about the importance of education himself. Okay, so yes, this was Saturn as much as I could hold grasp and share with you guys. What to watch next? If you're new to Vedic astrology, go and watch How to Get Started into Vedic Astrology. Or you can go and watch my Rising Signs Ascendant series. Or you can go and watch any of my playlists and start exploring fascinating world of Vedic astrology. Sending you tons of positive energy, sending you high vibrations. See you in the next videos. Love and peace.